Federal Republic of Nigeria, distinguished Senator Godswill Obot Akpabio, CON, other distinguished senators of this honorable House, I appear before you today seeking confirmation of my appointment as the Chief of Defense Staff of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, sequel to my nomination for the appointment by the President, Commander-in-Chief of the Nigerian Armed Forces, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, on the 19th July 2023. The Nigerian Armed Forces for the Nigerian people, and I consider it an honor to address the Senate this morning, mindful that the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is a factual representation of Nigerian people. Permit me to very heartily congratulate the Senate leadership, sir, and indeed all members of the Red Chamber for their successes at the 2023 elections and inauguration into what we now know as the 10th Assembly. It is my prayer that the Almighty God grants you ample grace to pursue your legislative duties for the benefit of our dear country and keep you one and for all. Like all sovereign states all over the world, Nigeria continues on the critical path to build and develop. To assure this journey, the men and women of our armed forces have continued to work tirelessly, day and night, in fulfillment of our constitutional role of defending the country. Our military remains a veritable instrument of national power that has continued to deliver over the years and is a bastion of our unity. For close to 4 decades now, it has been a pride for me to wear this uniform. I've been privileged to serve at different periods and capacities in command, on the staff, and instructional roles, earning promotion through the years as a commissioned officer. I've led men in battle, administered troops in peacetime, and played with the children of my colleagues. I've interacted and socialized with my fellow citizens, seen the rigors of war, visited the injured in hospital, and delivered condolences to the loved ones for those who have paid the supreme price for our country. My experiences as a military officer shaped my unshakable faith in our country, the unlimited power in its unity and greatness of its people. My belief in country equally informed my participation in rebranding of the Nigerian project in 2009, where my submission came in second. Let me place on record that the Nigerian military remains grateful to the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria for their critical role over the years in provisioning for our uniform in men in uniform. Under my watch, the armed forces shall continue to serve the Nigerian people dutifully and in line with the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and other extant provisions of the laws of the Federation. I thank you all for the privilege of addressing you in this hallowed chamber this morning. The Senate President, sir, distinguished senators, I now most respectfully present myself for your screening and seek your subsequent confirmation of my appointment as the Chief of Defense Staff of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you very much, sir. My name is Major General Christopher Gwabin Musa.
That is the nominee of Mr. President for the Office of Chief of Defense Staff. Thank you for your presentation. I will now invite Major General T.A. Lagbaja, incoming Chief of Army Staff.
The Senate President, Sir, distinguished Senator Godswill Akpabio, Commander, Order of the Niger, distinguished senators, the leadership of the Senate, distinguished senators, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen, I am Major General Taoreed Abiodun Lagbaja, the nominee of the President Commander-in-Chief as the Chief of Army Staff. I'm humbled and honored to be here this morning in this hallowed chamber to address these distinguished senators. I'm also very thankful to the President Commander-in-Chief for the confidence reposed in me and nominating me as the Chief of Army Staff. There's no denying the fact that our country, in the past 2 decades, has gone through challenging security situations that have impacted adversely on our economic, social, and political lives. What used to occur as occasional or episodic crises have now become enduring, making governance and the rule of law more challenging for the government of the day. The dream of our founding father is that of a strong, prosperous, globally competitive, and influential nation. However, today's painful reality is that insecurity has distorted our developmental plans and aspirations as Nigerians. The volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous nature of our contemporary security environment makes leadership challenging and therefore demands new skills that are proactive, adaptive, and inclusive. And I make bold to say that is what I intend to bring on board as the Chief of Army Staff. I know that the Nigerian Army that I have been nominated to lead is a crucial component of our military instrument of national power. It is the largest, most complex, most geographically spread, and often most sought after when security situations go south. For the Nigerian Army to grapple with the demands of the contemporary security environment, it must consistently transform to be a step ahead of its time. I, upon my nomination as the Chief of Army Staff, conceptualized my philosophy of command as to transform the Nigerian Army into a force that is well-trained, equipped, and highly motivated towards discharging our constitutional responsibility. To achieve this, I've identified some pillars upon which my philosophy will rest, and that includes leadership, operational effectiveness, and sound administration. I was conscious of the pronouncements and the directive of Mr. President on the need for synergy and to operate in harmony with sister services and other security agencies, including the larger Nigerian society. And I've identified the need to work in a joint environment with my colleague nominated as Service Chief and other security agencies. I see my nomination as a privileged opportunity to bring about more positive changes to the Nigerian Army, to enable it to function optimally in line with the dictates of our Constitution. Distinguished Senate President, sir, distinguished senators, if confirmed by this distinguished Senate and given the uncommon mandate to lead the Nigerian Army during this period, I shall do my best to justify the confidence reposed in me by His Excellency, the Commander-in-Chief, and the larger Nigerian society. In line with the directive of the Senate President, I will not take time to introduce myself. I was born on 28 February 1968 in Ilobu, Osun State. admitted into the Nigerian Defense Academy on 12 September 1987 as a member of the 39th regular course and commissioned into the Corps of Infantry. In the course of my military career, I've attended courses commensurate to my rank and garnered experience along the line. I've had administrative, staff, and command appointments. I was a two-time commanding officer of a Special Forces Battalion, the 72 Special Forces Battalion in Benue State, where I was saddled with the responsibility of combating the security challenges in the Benue Valley. I was the commander, 9th Brigade in Lagos, and later the commander, 2 Brigade in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State. I've commanded 82 Division Nigerian Army and the 1 Division in Kaduna. I've also held staff appointment as the Director of Operations at the Army Headquarters, and most recently, I was the Chief of Operations saddled with coordinating the operational activities of the Nigerian Army. I have extensive operational experience, having been deployed locally and abroad as part of a peacekeeping force. I intend to bring this experience to bear in my sojourn and responsibility as the Chief of Army Staff. Distinguished Senate President, sir, distinguished senators, I hereby present myself for your screening and subsequent confirmation as the Chief of Army Staff. Thank you, sir.
The uncommon nominee for office of Chief of Army Staff. Thank you for your presentation.
I am Rear Admiral Emmanuel Ikechukwu Ogala, and I have been nominated by the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, as the nominee for the post of Chief of Naval Staff. First, I will start by introducing my career of over 33 years in the service. I was enlisted into the Nigerian Navy in 1987 as a cadet of 39 regular course in the Nigerian Defense Academy. After my training at the NDA, I have attended several military and academic courses over the years, commensurate with my career. Specifically, I've attended both the junior staff course and the senior staff course at the Armed Forces Commander Staff College, Jaji. I also attended the hydrographic course in India, and I attended the National Defense College course in Abuja for the strategic level course. In addition, I have also undergone several academic courses, some of which I will mention. The master's degree in strategic studies at the University of Ibadan, among others. In terms of my career progression, I have served in many establishments, both ashore and afloat, both within the service, tri-service, and regional and international level throughout my career in the, up to now. I served on board several ships, including on NS Ekun, NS Aradu, which is the nation's flagship, and several others. In terms of operational engagement, I also served on board NNS Pathfinder, where I was in charge of coordinating the base illegal bunkering operations, as well as other internal security operations as the base operations officer. I also participated in the ECOMOG operations in Liberia in 2006. In addition, I have served in various staff appointments and also instructional appointments. Notable among these are as a directing staff at the Armed Forces Command, at the National Defense College in Abuja here. I was also an instructor at the Nigerian Navy Hydrographic School for many years, and I was both an instructor, a chief instructor, and the commandant of that school. In terms of other international engagements, I have served in various capacities, both at committee level, at the Gulf of Guinea Commission. I also participated in many other interministerial committees, for instance, the Committee on the Development of the National Maritime Strategy, as well as the National Maritime Transport Policy. My last appointments were mostly in the Naval Headquarters, Abuja, where I served as Director of Personnel Release, Director Audit at the Naval Safety and Standards Branch, and also the last one was Director Lessons Learned. Specifically, in the course of this period of my service as Director Lessons Learned, I was responsible for collating Nigerian Navy operations and activities, analyzing them with a view to drawing lessons, which were used to modify our doctrines and the standard operating procedures. Also, while at the National Defense College, I led the Nigerian NDC participants team to various countries like South Korea and China, where we contributed to the development of their, and I also contributed to the development of the curriculum at the college. In addition, as the hydrographic officer, which is my primary department, I contributed immensely to the development of the current tidal predictions, which is being used by the Nigerian Navy, hitherto, which was done abroad by the United Kingdom Hydrographic Office. I also participated in the production of several nautical charts, as well as the charting of the nation's coastal waters for both operational charts and for the general use of mariners. Senior President, sir, I wish to state, sir, that if given the opportunity to serve as the Chief of Naval Staff, I will put in my best to be able to accomplish the standard. I fully understand the challenges of facing the Nigerian Navy. In line with our statutory roles, which is the defense of the nation's territorial integrity from the maritime domain, as well as the policing roles of protecting the nation's resources and contribution to military aid to civil power, I am fully prepared to carry out these roles. If given the chance, my mandate, my command philosophy as the Chief of Naval Staff, I will be committed to leading with integrity, courage, and relentless pursuit of excellence. I believe in the power of teamwork, discipline, and human capacity development. My goal is to ensure that every Nigerian Navy personnel and civilian staff is equipped, trained, and ready to execute our mission effectively. I expect all personnel to hold these high standards of professionalism, ethics, and respect for human rights. Together, if given the chance, we will work to fulfill our mission, achieve our vision, and uphold the honor and tradition of the Nigerian Navy. I am not unmindful of the numerous challenges facing the Nigerian Navy. It is evident that the Nigeria's economy and the well-being of its people is heavily dependent on the maritime environment. Nigeria's maritime environment is full of resources. It is also a vital sea lane of communication. It is the responsibility of the Nigerian Navy, one of our secondary responsibilities in our policing duties, to ensure that this maritime domain is kept peaceful and secured. I am also fully aware of the tendency, the challenges which are being posed by threats to this maritime environment. I am fully prepared to tackle the prevailing issues of oil theft which has been a burden and that has been militated against our resources. To this end, I'm going to build on the strategies that have been put in place in the past. I'm going to improve on these strategies, for instance, our choke point operations regime and other operations which we have started. I'm going to develop these strategies and build on it. I'm also going to improve on regional cooperation and interagency collaboration. I thank God that we are in a regime whereby the mandate is to ensure that all the services collaborate, and I'm ready and prepared to do just that. Let me also state, sir, that we will enhance monitoring and surveillance to ensure that our operations are cost effective. I believe in achieving the maximum with the little resources that are available. I thank you, sir, for this opportunity, and I hereby present myself to be screened and to be considered for confirmation as the Chief of Naval Staff of Nigeria. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. May we now invite Air Marshal, Air Vice Marshal, HB Abubakar, incoming Chief of Air Staff.
I am Air Vice Marshal Hassan Bala Abubakar, the nominee for the position of the Chief of the Air Staff of the Nigerian Air Force. Distinguished Senators, on assumption of office as the Acting Chief of the Air Staff on the 19th of June 2023, I reiterated my commitment to reinvigorating our fight against terrorism, insurgency, and other security threats facing our dear nation. I also noted two key attributes of cooperation and jointness, which have been instrumental to the successes so far recorded in our counterinsurgency and counter-terrorism efforts, and which we intend to uphold in line with Mr. President's directive as outlined in the maiden National Security Council meeting. We will also adopt additional air power measures and approaches that will continue to diminish our security challenges and enhance the disposition of our various theaters of operations. This is important in view of the enormous expectations of Nigerians on us, and to ensure an expeditious and accelerated actualization of peace and security of lives and properties of Nigerians. Before making a pronouncement on my command philosophy that will guide our journey forward, let me lay the premise on which this philosophy will be predicated to enable us to have a clear understanding of the service's future direction and be on the same page. Let me once again thank my predecessors for their efforts over the years at revamping the fortunes of the Nigerian Air Force. Despite their various efforts though, a lot still needs to be done to actualize our dream for the Nigerian Air Force. Initial evaluation of our current capabilities clearly depicts a Nigerian Air Force with substantial but largely untapped strengths amid some vulnerabilities. It is therefore imperative that we devise strategies to leverage on our strengths and enhance operational output. It is important to recognize the efforts of the federal government of Nigeria at equipping and revamping the fortunes of Nigerian Air Force and sister services, which has greatly enhanced the effectiveness of air operations alongside other measures designed to combat terrorism, including initiatives for addressing the underlying causes of violent extremism and other vices. The government's commitment is demonstrative of its willingness to lead in combating regional threats to peace and security in the West African sub-region and the continent at large. Bearing in mind the huge investment by the government, a lot is expected on the Nigerian Air Force to deliver on its mandate and ensure peace returns to troubled spots in the country. It is on this premise that we intend to provide justification to government for the support we are enjoying so far, and even as the rebuilding efforts continues. Therefore, though our ultimate focus will remain our war-fighting capability, immediate steps will be taken to institute the NAF as relevant to government's everyday peacetime development efforts as possible. Our distinguished senators, at this juncture, I will take a minute or two to say a thing or two about myself. My military career started about 32 years ago as a boy soldier in Nigerian military schools area. However, I have served as an officer in the Nigerian Air Force for over 3 decades, during which I have served in all strata of command, administrative, instructional appointments, starting from admin officer, officer commanding officer. I was also a team leader in the United Nations peacekeeping mission in the Democratic Republic of Congo. I've been Air Officer Commanding, Logistics Command, Chief of Staff, Mobility Command, Nigerian Air Force, Director of Policy, Director of Operations at various times. My last appointment before nomination as the Chief of the Air Staff was the Chief of Standards and Evaluation at the headquarters, Nigerian Air Force. Now, through all these years and these appointments, I have learned a lot. I've seen successes, I've also seen setbacks, but these have given me a broad outlook on how to go about leading a fighting force like the Nigerian Air Force. Distinguished senators, ladies and gentlemen, I have also trained and operated in various foreign countries, including the Benin Republic, Cotonou here in Benin Republic, China, Egypt, United States of America, to name a few. Back home, I have participated actively in combat operations, including Operation Zaman Lafia, Lafia Dole, Safe Haven, Delta Safe, to name a few, including a host of others. I have also participated actively in planning and execution of military exercises, some in conjunction with our foreign partners like the United States Navy and the United States Air Force. These exercises have prepared me significantly for some of the experiences I've had in conducting air operations. For example, we had an operation conducted in conjunction with the United States Air Force that was about provision of early support in disaster relief operations. That prepared me very well, because subsequently we operated with the Nigerian Emergency Management Agency to do something very similar by way of evacuating and providing humanitarian services to relief to victims of flooding and other disasters. Distinguished senators, I have a master's degree in international affairs and diplomacy from the Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria. I also have a Bachelor of Science degree from the Nigerian Defense Academy. I speak, read, and write French fluently, and for this I got a diploma from the Benin Center of Foreign Languages at the Republic of Benin. I also have a certificate in personnel administration and management, which exposed me to the requirement for human resource management. And that has given me an edge in provisioning for manning, which is very essential for effective conduct of air operations. I'm a qualified airborne jump master, as well as a qualified amphibious operations officer. These qualifications I obtained from the Nigerian Army Infantry Center and School in Jaji and in Calabar. I am also a qualified aeromechanical engineer, aircraft maintenance engineer, and I have a rating on the Hughes 300 series helicopter as well as the MiG-21 aircraft. I have a diploma in aviation safety management, and I'm a professional pilot with air transport pilot license and a rating on several aircraft types, including the Boeing business jet, which is the exclusive reserve of Mr. President. I have flown over 4,500 hours, operational hours, and I've landed in over 50 countries around the world. Just give me a very broad experience in terms of air operations. During the span of my career, I've obtained several awards and medals, a few of which include the Forces Service Star, Meritorious Service Star, Field Command Medal of Honor, amongst a host of others. I also speak Arabic. I write, speak, and read Arabic as well as French. I have membership of several professional bodies, including the Nigerian Institute of Management, the Institute of Safety Professionals, as well as Institute of Aircraft Accident Investigators. Now, gleaning from the operational environment, I have also, going forward, developed a command philosophy which is going to guide our operations and activities going forward for the Nigerian Air Force. And my command philosophy is to transform the Nigerian Air Force into an agile, resilient, and responsive force that effectively meets the air power demands of national security in all operational environments. Now, to achieve this vision or this command philosophy, I've also identified some key drivers or very important points that we are going to focus on for eventually succeeding at this command philosophy. These include, first, optimizing force structure and establishment for enhanced operational effectiveness, deliberate training and mission-oriented force development, proactive logistics support, and strong maintenance culture, as well as prioritizing research and development, leveraging cutting-edge technology, strategic partnerships, and lessons learned. And last but not the least, among the key drivers of the command philosophy is maintaining a highly motivated force by enhancing welfare and infrastructural renewal. Distinguished senators, I am highly delighted to be here to present myself for screening and eventual confirmation as Mr. President's nominee for the position of the Chief of the Air Staff for the Nigerian Air Force. Thank you very much.
Thank you for using 2 minutes. Leader of the Senate.